This is so crazy. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best. And in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about some Leverless controllers, because thank you to the good people over at Hawk42, I am now the owner of a few different Leverless controllers. Now, I do want to make a quick note and give you guys a disclaimer. This is not an ad. This is not a sponsor. They didn't pay me to say any of this or to even make this video, but they reached out to me via email and asked if I'd be interested in trying out some of the controllers completely free of charge. And they think they're slick. And I know the game. They're like, no, we're not trying to sponsor you. However, if you just so happen to want to make a video once you get the controllers, then we not gonna oblige us. We not gonna say no to that. Yeah, I peep game, but I was genuinely interested in these controllers already anyway. I had been in the market for Leverless myself because it's been all the rage for the last few years now. It seems like more and more people are making the switch from pad or from stick over to Leverless, and I want to give it a shot for myself. And so since I was considering picking up one of their controllers anyway, when they reached out to me and said, we'll send you some for free, I was like, yeah, for sure, go ahead, send those over, and let's go ahead and try them out. And so yesterday on stream, I actually got around to trying these out in Tekken of all games, because, you know, so I wanted to do easy wave dashes and electrics. And well, that's exactly what we're getting now. Yeah, it's basically exactly what I expected, where my execution with certain things like back dashing and wave dashing and doing electrics is just way better than what I could ever do on my pad. And it's just it's kind of insane. It's honestly amazing. I know people have been calling like these things like cheat boxes for years, but yeah, no, you really do take your execution to the next level by using a Leverless controller. So here today I have 3 different ones from Hawk42. Right now you're seeing me use the M16, but they also sent me their S16 controller as well as the B16 controller. And all 3 I've messed around with just a tiny bit, and I like all 3, but I think I probably like this one, the M16, the most. If I jump over to the camera full screen real quick, you can see this one is actually, it's still pretty thin, lightweight, but it feels really nice. This one is actually an all metal construction with some really nice buttons that they sound and feel pretty nice. The only thing I don't like about this one is that because it has like this matte finish and it's made of metal, it's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, as you guys can see. And I keep hand sanitizer by my desk. I wash my hands and I keep this microfiber cloth on deck. But definitely one of the things you're gonna have to wipe down after every session if you want to keep it looking nice and clean. But other than that, the fact that the buttons aren't labeled, as somebody who's like brand new to Leverless and hasn't memorized the layout and everything like that, it was kind of hard to just kind of memorize and keep track of which buttons are which, and especially these ones up the top for your start, back, home, touchpad, and everything like that. And actually, if we jump back over, I've changed some of the button mapping. So I guess because I changed some of the button mapping, the labels wouldn't have meant that much anyway. But at least for the ones at the top, it would have helped out a lot. But because this button up here is actually the touchpad button, and I just kept forgetting, I actually mapped one of the buttons to touchpad down here so that I could easily restart in training mode, because I was just having a hard time memorizing that. But anyway, yeah, these controllers are really dope, and I just kind of want to talk with you guys about them a little bit. And actually, quickly, I should probably set up a little hand cam so you guys can see just what I'm doing and how I am using these controls. So give me one moment and I'll do that for you. All right, so with that setup, you guys can now see exactly how I'm executing stuff like, you know, this wave dash, or even, you know, the electrics now, which I haven't, you know, I'm only just now learning how to play Leverless. Like, I just started trying this out yesterday, and already my execution is 1,000 times better than it was on pad. And I'm honestly just mind blown, to be honest. And even if I swap over to P2 side, whoops, sorry, like I said, still kind of getting used to how the buttons work on here, or like where the buttons are, which just goes to show how quickly you pick up how to do this stuff, because I don't even have the buttons memorized yet and I'm already doing stuff like this. What am I looking for? Switch position. So now that I'm on this side, so I actually have this button right here, right where my thumb would rest, set to right, and then this button right beside it is set to left. That's how I'm getting, you know, the easy movement, because it's easier to do with 2 hands than it is with 1, but simultaneously having the directional inputs be on the same side, on the same hand as your 2 input makes it a lot easier to hit that at the same time, so that you get the just trim for the electric. But that being said, so if I want to do like a wave dash here on P2 side, I haven't even practiced this. I just I just figured that this would be easy to do, and it is. And the same thing goes with electric. So an electric on this side would look like this, right? Wait, that's not the 2 button. That's the 2 button. Yeah, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. So with these controllers, you can obviously not only elevate your execution, but you can change the button mapping to all of these, and you can basically set the buttons wherever you want. Like you can make it whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I'll even probably show you guys here in a moment how to actually change the mapping for the controller. And I've done it for this one. I did a couple of changes on this one, but I might use this one to make it more like this one because I changed a couple of things after that. You can do it for the B16 as well. So with some of the demonstration stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about these controllers a little bit more in depth about how they work, how you can get a hold of these, and just kind of hopefully answer some questions that you might have about them. So first and foremost, let's talk about this one, the M16. These are all very, very affordable, which is like the greatest draw to these controllers outside of the fact that they're leverless and you can do stuff like what I just showed you. But they're very, very affordable. This one right here is super nice. Like I said, all metal construction, feels very nice, very solid, very sturdy. And I have my girlfriend's iPad here for size comparison, but you can see it's basically almost the exact same size as an iPad. So still pretty portable and lightweight. And honestly, it feels like it's damn near the same weight as an iPad and is just as thin, to be honest, maybe even thinner. Granted, this isn't a case or whatever, but yeah, it's basically an iPad. And this is only $100. You compare that to any other leverless controller on the market, like at least most of the mainstream ones, those are all upwards of $200 to $300. Now, what I will note and what is important to note is that if you play on PlayStation, you're gonna need one of these. You see this little doodad I have sticking here at the top? This is the Mayflash Mag PS4 Magic Boots adapter. You need this converter in order to make these controllers function properly on PlayStation, because what's going to happen otherwise is you'll plug in your controller, it'll work for about 8 minutes, and then after that 8 minutes it will fail to authenticate and it'll disconnect, and then it'll just stop working. Now you could just plug the controller, you can unplug it and plug it back in, and it'll start working again for 8 more minutes. Obviously that's a nuisance, and if you're trying to take this to a tournament, or even if you're just playing online and you just happen to forget or whatever and your controller disconnects, you're gonna have a bad time. So you're gonna want to buy this. This is an extra $30. That being said, $130 is still much cheaper than basically almost every other leverless controller on the market that I see people, buying and using and raving about. And again, this isn't like an ad or a sponsor, but I figured since I have these and I do like them, I might as well talk about them and inform you guys. But yeah, and then you have even cheaper options as well. Like this right here is their S16 model, and I believe this one is on sale on Amazon right now for about $60, and I like this one quite a lot as well. My only issue with this one is that me being the big guy that I am, because I'm about 6'3" and I have fairly large hands, I mean, this controller is, you know what I'm saying? Like it's one hand, I could take up this whole controller, which is great for some of you guys. Like if you're a smaller individual or you just want something more compact, lightweight, and everything like that. And what is this material? Is this like an acrylic or something like that? It's pretty nice. But this is on sale for like $60, and then like the B16 is like $50 as well. This one is actually so small that if I stand up, I can fit this into my sweatpants pocket very easily. Very easily. So if portability and compactness is what you're looking for, this definitely has it. And again, for the price, you really can't beat that. Now, if you play on PC, by the way, you can just take your USB cable, plug this right in, and it'll work straight away. But if you do play on console, you're going to need one of these little adapters. But as you can see, it also has like these rubber grips on the back if you want to, put it on your desk or on a table or whatever. I prefer having the controller in my lap. But for me, this is like a great size. They offer some bigger ones as well than this, and I don't know if I would prefer it even bigger. But I like this size and this form factor quite a lot. Now these got shipped in these little cardboard boxes that have like all this nice foam padding and these cutouts for the buttons and everything like that. And then also if I flip open this little compartment here, you can see it came with its own USB cable as well as a replacement switch, and it looks like a tool to help you replace the buttons and switches if you so choose to. But as you will probably notice, I'm not using that cable. I just use the this is just a USB-C cable I bought off Amazon. This is what I currently use for like my DualSense and on my PlayStation and everything like that. So it looks like basically any third-party USB cable should work for this. But yeah, I think this controller only has one USB-C port on it. Yeah, it has one USB-C port on it at the top. This is a USB A port. And then the other two controllers, I think the B16 is the same way. Yeah, where it has one USB A port. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the camera to focus on that. Camera been kind of finicky lately, but trying to do the little makeup reviewer thing. There you go. You can see there's a USB A port there at the top, and then here on the side it has the USB-C port. Yeah, it's gonna want to focus on my face. I know, camera, I know, I look good. It's all right though. But yeah, USB-C port on the side, and then the S16 actually has 3 USB ports. So you have the USB-A port here on the right side of the controller, and then you have 2 USB-C ports at the top and at the side, as well as the M16 and the S16 have these little screens. And I'm probably gonna have to turn the lights down a little bit for you guys to be able to see this, for it to focus on this one because it's so bright. But yeah, this one is also really, really nice. They all feel very well made and very quality. And I know that's probably something that you'd be concerned about or wondering about, is that if they're so cheap, they have to be cutting corners somewhere. Like the quality has to be bad, or like they must not be reliable. Look, I've only been using them for a couple of days now, but as far as just like the build quality and the feel, like these are, I'm honestly amazed. Like if they're able to sell controllers this nice at this price, it makes me question why anyone else's controllers are as expensive as they are. If I'm being honest, I think they're just that nice. I mean, the buttons, they feel really, really good. They sound really nice. And even the keys that you get on the B16, they sound and feel really nice as well. Nothing feels like it's loose or like it's gonna pop off or like anything's gonna snap or break. It's all really, really solid and really well made. When it comes to the S16 as well, I think, like I said, this feels like some sort of acrylic or something like that, but it looks like you could probably very easily unscrew these like 6 screws on the back, and then like take these layers apart and then easily slip in some custom artwork or something under here if you wanted to. And as for this, like, I guess you could throw on some stickers or like a vinyl, or like maybe even get like some laser engraving. I've seen some people lately getting like their arcade sticks like laser etched or whatever, and that looks really cool. I might have to do something like that myself. And I don't know if I'm actually going to want to switch to Leverless full time. It's tempting, I'm not gonna lie, because it's really cool, it's really fun, it feels really nice as well, it feels really ergonomic and just like very natural. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I don't know if natural is the word, because I've always been a PlayStation controller user. I've always used a PlayStation controller, whether it's PS2, PS4, PS5. I never owned a PS3, but I've always played games, especially fighting games, on a PlayStation controller. So that's what feels natural to me. But this doesn't feel foreign either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels intuitive, maybe is the right word that I want to use. Maybe that's the right connotation. It doesn't feel like it would take too much time to get used to this and to want to use as my new peripheral. That being said, I'm kind of hard-headed and stuck in my ways with a lot of things. When it comes to Tekken, I don't know if I'd see myself using this full-time for Tekken. Maybe if I actually wanted to commit to learning a Mishima, like if I want to learn Jin or Kazi or Double Jin, or elevate my Reina game, maybe I start playing on Leverless so I get those wave dashes and electrics and back dashes and everything like that. But I don't want to like have to overwrite muscle memory I already have for another character. So when it comes to like Wadong, I'd probably just keep playing on the controller. But if a new fighting game comes out that I'm really interested in, I might try learning it on Leverless, because I think it would be a lot of fun, because I'm really rocking with these controllers. I think they're all very, very nice. Anyway, I also want to talk about the custom button mapping that you can do with these controllers, and how I was able to execute stuff like the electrics and the wave dash and the back dash as easily as I am. And that's by changing these buttons right here, right? So this is the M16, so it has a total of 16 buttons that you can customize and play around with. So here you see you have left, down, right, up. This is 1, 2, this is 3, 4. This button I actually have set to Rage Art. This button down here is actually set to left, and this button to the right of it is set to right. And having these directional buttons able to be accessed by my right thumb makes it a lot easier to do those adjust frame inputs and hit it at the same time as the 2 button, because those buttons are both being pushed by the same hand. So with you being able to do movement with both hands simultaneously, it makes it a lot easier. Now by default, I don't think this was mapped to anything, or if it was, it might have been like L3 or R3, which I didn't have anything set to. And then this button used to be up, but I changed it to left. And what I'll actually do right now is show you guys how you can change that button mapping for yourself. So for the sake of that demonstration, what we'll actually do is take the S16 here, because I did change one of the buttons or whatever, but I'm gonna make it fall in line with my M16 and show you guys exactly how it's done. So what you're gonna wanna do is take your S16, or I guess any of the controllers for that matter, and you're gonna wanna hold down the start button on the controller as you plug a USB cable into it that's already connected to your PC. And then you should hear it connect. There you go. And then on the little screen here, because it has this little LCD or whatever, it should say web config mode. And then what you're gonna wanna do is go over to the Hot42 website, which I will show you guys here on the other monitor in just a moment. There you go. And you're gonna wanna go down to support, or over to support, I suppose. And scroll down as you get to the PS4 avoid the 8-minute timeout, as I mentioned earlier. if you do not have the adapter, your controller will time out and disconnect, and you can plug it in, or you can unplug it and plug it back in, and it'll keep working, but it's a pain. Anyway, you're then going to want to go to this right here. You're going to want to copy and paste that into your browser, and that'll bring you to the configurator right here. Now, also worth noting, you're going to want to do this as well in order to change the input mode and make sure that your controller is working properly on PlayStation, everything like that. But then you're going to go over to configuration, and you're going to go to pin mapping. And here's where you're going to figure out how to actually change the mapping for all of your buttons. So I'm just going to go ahead and full screen this here. So let's just say I want to change this button right here, which I guess you guys can't really see it that well, but let me turn down the lights and then go back over here. So you can see that these LEDs light up and everything, and you can actually change the colors of all the buttons. Like in this configurator, you can actually customize the LEDs and everything like that. And also comes with like some preset modes that you can swap between, which is shown to you like in the little this little pamphlet that comes inside the box. It kind of has some instructions for you that you can follow. But anyway, let's say I want to change this button right here to be right the same way as it is on my M16. What I would do is I would go over here and I would go to the pin viewer. Now what's happening is that this is in a mode where once you hit a button, it's going to tell you what pin that button is. So I hit the button and that's pin 19. So now what I'm going to do is scroll down to pin 19 and see that that's set to R3. I'm not worried about having an R3. So what I'm going to do is set that to right. And any change that you make in here, you're then going to have to scroll down, hit save. And once you do that, you just unplug the controller, plug it back into your PlayStation. So with that one button change, let's go ahead and demonstrate it. I'll go ahead and hit save. That's been saved now. Just going to disconnect this. And then I'm going to actually disconnect my M16 from my PlayStation. Going to take my May Flash adapter out the top of this, plug it here into the S16. And then I'm going to take the USB cable that's currently connected to my PlayStation, plug that into the top of the S16. And now I'm going to hit the home button. Well, let me show you guys this here. I'll hit the home button. That's going to connect the controller. Hit start. Boom, we're back in. Now if I hit this button, you can see it now is right. I don't know where my game sound just went. I might have bumped my Elgato capture card in the middle of all this. There we go. Got my sound back. Let me go ahead and turn this light back on. So if I just go ahead and reset here, you can see now that I have this. So if I just go back and go back to restart settings, swap position, boom, boom, boom. And now I have my easy mode wave dash, just like I did on the other controller, as well as easy electrics. I say as I do it down too. Yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple, and it's it feels good, man. It feels really good. I like this controller a lot. My least favorite of the three that I tried is the B16, and I guess is the one that we've talked about the least. The keys feel nice and everything. It's for me, it's just too small. If you're somebody who's a smaller person, or you just have smaller hands, or you just want something more portable and compact, I'm sure this is great for you. But for me, it's just, even though it feels and sounds really nice, and I like using it, my fingers just have to be a little bit just too close together for my liking, and I just have to kind of keep my hands too close. And I just, like I said, I can cover this whole thing up with one hand, and it's just a little bit too small for me. This I could definitely make work, and I still might mess around with this a little bit because I do like it, and I like the aesthetic of it as well, with the translucency and just, you know, customizing the LEDs and everything. But just in terms of overall build quality, feel, you know, form factor and everything, the M16 is definitely my favorite. And it's going to be the one that I do use moving forward for the most part, if and when I do want to use a Leverless controller. But with that being said, big shout out to Hot42 for sending this my way, because I've been wanting to try this out for a while, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be my new main peripheral, but it's very tempting to, at the very least, learn how to play a Mishima on here, because the execution is just so much easier. It's just so much easier. But that's pretty much gonna do it for me, I think. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to drop them in the comment section down below. If there's anything that I forgot, I'll try to add it in as an annotation, or, you know, in the comments or whatever. But like I said, if there's anything you guys want to know, feel free to let me know, and I'll answer it to the best of my ability. And if I can't answer it, then hopefully I can direct you in the direction of somebody who can. That was terrible English, but regardless. With that being said, though, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all this content that I bring you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all for today. And remember, that's gonna happen until you swing the bat. Later.